Hello and welcome into the KE Report. Chad and Corey here, getting an update on AbraSilver Resource Corp. Traded on the TSX.V under the ticker ABRA and on the OTCQX under the ticker ABBRF. And we're joined today with the president and CEO of AbraSilver Resource Corp, John Miniotis. And John, it's great to get you on the show for another update on some of the exploration results that you have coming out of the JAC area. You've been stepping out with a couple of holes here, and obviously the key hole being hole number 18, but there's some high grade that you encountered, higher than I guess your team was expecting as you continue to step out from the boundaries of the JAC deposit and even to the south and southwest. So maybe walk us through what these results are telling you as this JAC deposit looks like it keeps growing.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I'd be happy to do it. Thanks again for having me back on. It's always a pleasure to provide you guys with an update. So yeah, in terms of a summary of our latest batch of drill results, we announced results from several different areas, and so we're pleased to be hitting good silver grades sort of across various zones across our Diablillos project. So there's clearly lots of exploration upside here, not just at JAC, but in multiple areas of the project. But yeah, when you look at the grades in the step-out holes to the south of the JAC deposit, those grades are just at a totally different level. And honestly, I've never really seen anything, any other deposit quite like this one before, where you just consistently keep stepping out, and the grades continuously seem to be improving here. So yeah, this hole 18, that was a 50-meter step out from the existing resource. That was a step out to the south of the known JAC resource there. The intercept came back with over 30 meters, and the grades were over 275 grams per ton of silver. And importantly, this mineralization is still very, very shallow. So, downhole depth of just over 100 meters or so, downhole depth. So this is for sure open pittable, quite shallow, extremely high grades. And I think, yeah, to help put the grades into perspective, I mean, I know sometimes it's more helpful if you convert this to gold equivalent. So if you use a 70-to-1 silver to gold ratio, these grades that we're hitting here, it's about 4 grams per ton of gold over 30 meters, and that's in oxides. And so as most investors are aware, I mean, if you have a gold open pittable project with 1 gram per ton of gold in oxides, I think that's generally considered pretty good grades or good grades. There's clearly across Latin America, there's a number of producing mines with grades far less than 1 gram per ton. And certainly if you have a gold deposit with grades of say 2 grams per ton near surface, I mean, that'd be pretty exceptional. But for us, I mean, JAC, these silver grades are equivalent to, the grades we're hitting now in this hole 18 and also in the last press release. We stepped out to JAC South and we believe we hit about 250 grams per ton of silver there, again, over 30 meters plus. So now we're stepping out and hitting 3.5 to 4 grams per ton gold equivalent. And again, this is all silver, but I'm just sort of helping put these silver grades into perspective. And so, I think we're extremely, extremely pleased. I think last year, obviously the focus was on JAC. We drilled 100 holes into JAC, came out with a very, very high grade deposit. We knew it was still open, but we did not expect the grades to continue to improve the further we're drilling. So yeah, we're going to obviously keep drilling, keep growing JAC. It's open to the southwest. It's open to the south. And so, very, very pleased with these results, and obviously a lot more drilling ahead of us here for JAC.
So, John, let's just summarize that by looking at figure 1 and figure 2, because we can see the JAC area of that open pit, that mineral boundary. It's more the narrow part of this overall resource, but with these expansion holes and the continued expansion holes, you look down to figure 2, as you said, you'd simply expand the pit. So in your eyes, the potential here of this JAC area to the south, even up to the north, are you just going to, maybe when you come out with further releases, even further economics, simply grow that JAC open pit area?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, these step out holes, I mean, now the pit's moving further to the south, so you just keep growing that. And so, yeah, in the measure and indicator resource, we had just over 5 million tons. And that was in the resource update we announced last year, of course. And the grades at JAC were over 200 grams per ton of silver. And so now with these grades, not only are you growing the tonnage, I mean, now there's obviously more tonnage than what we had previously anticipated. But yeah, amazingly, I mean, the grades are even improving from 200. The last couple of drill holes here, I think last month, if I'm not mistaken, in July, we announced another hole. It was, again, 33 meters or so, about 250 grams of silver. So that was above the silver resource grade at JAC. This hole is clearly well above the resource grade. So yeah, you're adding tonnage, and importantly, I mean, the grades are going up from already very, very high levels.
Yeah, John, it's really amazing what your team has done on the ground at JAC just over the last 2 years since we started talking about it being a target to growing to becoming a pit itself to now growing into a larger pit. And there's probably still potential, as we've discussed in prior interviews, to keep pushing it to the north of some of those recent holes towards Alpaca. So it's really been a game changer. But you haven't been sitting on your laurels as far as the Occulto part of the deposit either, which was the initial deposit drilled out and more well known. You're still extending not only to the southwest with JAC, but to the northeast with the Occulto. There's that northeast extension. So maybe talk to us about some of the holes continuing to grow the Occulto part of the Diablillos project.
Yeah, that's very, very important. So Oculto is still open as well. And yeah, we announced a hole there as part of the press release as well. Got good silver grades and importantly also very good gold grades in that hole. And so that's important distinction. I mean, JAC is entirely silver. It's purely silver, very, very small amounts of gold. But yeah, Oculto, the deposit itself, is almost 50-50 gold and silver. And as you step out to the northeast, the gold grades seem to be improving. And so we're very excited there. The team right now at site is actually doing some structural mapping in some new areas in the northeast, and they're trying to identify specific drill targets there. And again, those could be more gold rich. And so yeah, the structural mapping is underway. That's being completed right now, and so we expect to be drilling more holes in that Oculto Northeast district here very, very shortly. And so lots more news flow coming out of that as well. So yeah, towards the northeast, Oculto keeps growing. Towards the southwest, obviously, JAC continues to amaze everyone. So there's lots of potential. And then, as you recall, outside sort of from Oculto and JAC, we have that porphyry complex as well. And so that's something we've always known. There's porphyry potential there. We've never prioritized drilling. Obviously, drilling a porphyry is more expensive. You're looking at deeper holes, potentially 500-meter plus holes, looking for a large gold and copper system. And so, that could be expensive. But now with sort of the solid financial position that we're in, with the strategic partners in place, with Kinross, Central Puerto, that we have, we're certainly looking to start drilling that porphyry complex, hopefully by the end of September. And so we could have some holes announced there, hopefully by year end as well. So there's lots and lots of exploration upside here ahead of us, even beyond just the results at JAC.
Okay, so a lot of drilling still coming. Can you give us some more insights on continued step out distance at JAC and at Oculto as you continue to drill and expand these areas?
Yeah. So at JAC, we step out 50 meters. So I think we're now drilling a hole which is 50 meters again to the south of this hole 2018, which was already a 50-meter step out. So yeah, now it's a 100-meter step out hole where we're drilling now from the resource boundary. So yeah, big sort of step out holes. And then similarly, even to Oculto Northeast, we're looking at step out holes well beyond 50 meters. They're looking at some new areas there. So yeah, some sizable step out holes here for sure.
Well, and John, as part of that Occulto Northeast, there's also the Cerro bio target. Dave outlined it a little bit last time when he was on the show, but maybe put a little more context around how Cerro bio kind of factors in along with Occulto Northeast there.
Yeah, and so that's where that structural mapping is coming into play. And so right now, Oculto, of course, there's a pit design, the pit extends. So part of Oculto Northeast falls within the existing Oculto boundary, but the step out target there is Cerro bio. And so that's where we're doing the mapping. We could be drilling at Cerro bio and looking to ultimately connect that to Oculto. And so, yeah, that's where the work has focused on, and it's looking quite prospective especially from a gold perspective. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be ideal if we could find out high grade gold ounces as we step out further from Occulto NorthEast towards that Cerro Bio target.
So you mentioned that you're well funded with some strong partners. These results all part of a 20,000 meter ongoing drilling program. How much will that cost? How much money do you have? And do you think you might actually expand on that drilling program when you go after that porphyry target?
So yeah, we're very well funded. We have about $20 million Canadian or so in the bank. The entire 20,000 meter drill program would cost about 8 million US. And of course, we've been drilling for several months now. So a lot of that's been spent. So I'm not sure how much more remaining is to be spent, 5.5 million US still remaining to be spent. And yeah, we had budgeted for about 25% of the cost to be in that porphyry camp and some other step out holes as well. But certainly, if we start connecting with good grades in the porphyry, then an entirely new drill program, could then follow on once this one's complete. So we're happy. We're sticking to 20,000 meters now. That we'll be drilling until about January, so several more months here. Lots of news flow ahead of us for the remainder of this year and into early next year. And then depending again on the results, we'll figure out next year's drill campaign here.
Okay. And John, just wrap us up with, as far as those porphyry complex and going after Cerro Blanco and Cerro Viejo, I would think that that's where more of the interest came in from some of the partners that you just brought in, Central Puerto and in particular Kinross, because you're looking for both gold and copper in there. So maybe just speak to how, while you have a silver dominant in JAC and Occulto is a mix of silver and gold, and maybe getting more gold-like towards Cerro Bio, these porphyry complex could bring in copper to the complex as well as gold. So maybe just speak to why that would be so significant to find a hole in their pocket there.
So yeah, so the system we've been drilling, of course, is near surface. It's in oxides, open pitable, very good metallurgy. So very easy to mine, easy to process, and that's why it has obviously great economics already. The big sulfide porphyry that we'd be targeting is an entirely different animal. I mean, this is deeper. I mean, our initial drill holes will be at least 500 meters deep. I mean, but yeah, typically porphyries can extend down to a kilometer and beyond. Of course, we've seen Filo del Sol, which is in San Juan province of Argentina. Similar system. I mean, their porphyry is absolutely world class, and that's just been sold now to Lundin Mining and BHP. And extends 1.5 kilometers or so. So if you hit a porphyry, I mean it's a big system typically, and you're talking about potential for multi-million ounces of gold, potential for huge amounts of copper potentially. And so yeah, it's always been sort of again known that we have this porphyry complex. It was higher risk, because there's been very little work done to date. That's why we're doing this electromagnetic survey right now. That's going to help us site exactly where we want to be drilling. You don't want to waste too many deep holes, and so you want to know exactly where you want to drill. So we're finalizing that right now, and then that drill campaign should hopefully kick off by the end of September. And then yeah, once we drill the first hole, we'll sort of look at the core and then decide where to put the next couple ones. But yeah, we'll be drilling at least a few deep holes there, and that could be very, very exciting. I mean, it could be game changer potential, of course. Blue sky there to add a porphyry system, which is located only a few kilometers away from a very high grade oxide deposit. It would really, really be transformational there. So we have fingers crossed, obviously doing a lot of work, looking to, site some specific deeper drill holes now, and then it'll be very, very exciting for us once we start drilling that later this year.
All right. Well, a lot of exploration results to keep following along with out of AbraSilver, whether it's from the JAC Zone, whether it's from the Occulto Zone, or some of these new porphyry targets. The whole Diablillos project is becoming more and more interesting. The more we get more exploration results coming in from this Phase 4 drill program. John will keep following along with the results as they come in. And if people listening in want to follow along with the news out of AbraSilver, definitely click on the link below this interview. It takes you right over to the website, straight to their news section. And as always, looking forward to our next conversation, John.
Thanks very much.